Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is episode 8 of One Shot at a Monster.
Forget it. Feeling it too hard is the poison to the heart of a cynic redemption. Now I'm waking to pain to shake.
Welcome back. I am Josh. I am friend of Wales and your dungeon master. And with me,
Hi, this is Dean playing Sir Adric Winmere, partial whale food.
Hi, this is John. I'm playing Dr. Merrick Hoffman, Whale Killer.
This is Jake playing Avery Colburn, baby seal killer.
This is Matt playing Keeler Ulson, Whale Rider.
oh,
He's the Whale Rider.
now
That was good, lads.
That about sums up what happened last week. You guys went toe to toe with the mighty Haval.
Fin to toe.
Fin to toe. On board the Solvin, through the passage, you guys were attacked by a mighty beast the size of the ship, the Great Haval. And despite losses to the crew, severe damage to the ship, and near death for several of you, particularly Sir Adric Winmere, you did fell the beast, managed to complete the voyage, limp on north to the village of Svenheim, Jan's home village. Thanks to your efforts, the captain of the shipmaster, Eirik, did survive, but he is being tended to by the shaman. You guys had a little bit of time to tend to yourselves in Jan's simple home and are now being summoned to a feast. You're brought through the streets of the village, Jan's walking along with you, and you don't see a lot of people. You see a few heads, mostly children, poking out from some of the homes. And you realize as you reach the center of town, that is because almost all of the village is here at the hall. However, outside, there's a good amount of space around the hall. As Matt described last episode, the layout of this town, the hall is, in every way, the center of the village of the tribes of the north. And in this large open area, there are piled funeral pyres, 7, in fact. There is an 8th, however, no body is there to rest upon it. You do see some belongings, it appears, in their place. And as you arrive, the village is quiet. Everyone's gathered around. Older man and an older woman come forward. They speak to the tribe, and it is in their tongue. Perhaps Keeler translates some of it. One by one, family members or friends come forward, 8 in total, and say something about each of the fallen men. And then flames are brought forth, and the pyres are lit. It is solemn and quiet, and as the flames take root, you see some tears in the crowd, and then cheers, and it gets sort of louder and more impassioned until many in the crowd are almost screaming and roaring, and take it, as you understand, celebrating the lives of these men. Smoke carrying away their ashes and memories into the night. And the doors of the hall are thrown open, and you begin to make your way forward. And before I forget, I want to throw it out there. I would like everybody to nominate anyone they might have had a reason to for inspiration in the battles to follow. I'm going to start with Matt, not just in the battle, but afterwards, the flawed dismissive of the strength of outsiders. So, Matt, give yourself a point, and wary of that before Adric challenges you to a duel. Anybody else got anything they want to throw out there?
I mean, it was mostly that fight. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
Nothing stands out to me.
All right. Fuck y'all then.
Yeah, I think we all suck. We're all bad role players.
I would say
Essentially.
Adric with courage.
Yeah, but that's... I mean,
Yeah,
did he, I mean, did he do anything out of the ordinary?
I mean, charged into there, and you were able to, I don't know, be
inside of its mouth.
Yeah,
That's true. I
And
was,
still
I was
stand
alligator
and
food.
fight it. That's pretty.
you put yourself on the front line of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Take a point of inspiration.
This part of the game is so uncomfortable for me. Where your friends tell you what you did cool. It's like the most impossible hurdle for me.
Okay, well,
Great at taking compliments. Really good at it.
So you enter the hall, and not the entire village, but many, and most of the adults do enter, and there's a feast for the men, and you also kind of come to realize for yourselves. You are seated at the table of honor at one end of the hall. Each of you is approached by an older woman or man and a fur placed upon your shoulders. Clearly items of value to these people. In turn, some of the people you realize are probably the children of some of the most important people in the village, teenagers and some older, come forward. A large bowl is placed under your hands, held by a young boy, and a girl pours hot water over your hands as she helps you to scrub them dry. The water caught in the bowl. It's both practical, but there's definitely a ritual kind of feeling to it as they kind of go down the line. And Jan stands up and he speaks to the village, to those in attendance, and he says, "And as many of you have come to know some of the tale, and you look upon me and Master Eirik, who rests with the shaman and the other survivors of the Solvend. We are only here because of Kieler, son of Uller, man of Undvar, and these, the men he brings with him, the brethren from the south, Dr. Hoffman, Knight of an Order of the South,
I nod.
Sir Adric Windermere, and he turns, see him kind of, and a Lord, Avery Colborne. The village kind of cheers their approval. And he says, "You are now heroes and brethren of Svenheim. Eat, drink, be with us."
I hold my glass up and say, "Hail!"
It's kind of a hearty, oh! Everyone holds a drink up, and flagons are drained quickly, and it quickly loses any sort of formality. Some musicians play at one end of the hall. Most of the village cannot fit in, but you notice that a lot of them kind of come in and out, especially the children, none of whom have seats here at the tables. They kind of come running in along. A lot of them sort of come to the end and sort of get peeks at you and laugh or point things out. Some look admiringly. A few actually run up and drop little trinkets. A few carved bones, perhaps some future adepts of Keeler, and general merriment. Your flagons are refilled by these same children of the elders that seem to be kind of serving you, and kind of men might come over and give you a toast, but in general you're sort of left to your own accords as many courses are brought out. The food is simple but hearty, bounty of the sea, cold weather crops, fowl. There certainly isn't much conventional Southern fare here, but you eat and drink to your heart's content, and you have some time here for yourself.
Excellent. Adric Winmere is not going to be shy about the merriment and the drinking and the fun. And I will try to ingratiate myself upon any of these people who talk to me or come to me, the children, etc. Hey, blah, blah, blah. Tousle their hair and whatnot. Give them coins. Shit like that.
Avery's a little bit kind of lost in thought. He's not, I mean, if someone comes up and talks to him, he talks, but he's kind of just staring into the hearth and thinking about thinking about what it'll be like if they pull this off, and a celebration similar to this, but just grander in scope that awaits him back in the capital. With
Cleaner, you'd say.
cleaner, bigger, better looking women.
Look, it's going to be terrific.
But just kind of staring into the hearth, and every once in a while, just looking at the rest of the party and observing how they interact with everyone.
Okay. Keeler, do you think do you sort of stay with your new comrades here? This must be a little bit of a strange feeling for you. You're all being honored, but in a way you're almost more lumped in with these outsiders than you normally would be. You would normally just be another tribesman passing through from a sister village.
I'd say it's been a while since I've been back in the villages, at least a couple weeks, being down in the cities. So I'd say I was probably drinking some nice dirty mead or beer and up singing and dancing with people. I probably also like to, I don't know if you have me make a perception check, but any young single lasses that are there that seem to be eyeing any of my companions, I would probably try to put in a good word or send them over to whichever one they're interested in with a glass of mead.
Okay.
Dr. Hoffman.
Hoffman's getting a bit too drunk as the children come by, like filling up the mead. He's like, "Oh no, well, I guess one more won't really." And yeah, he's explaining to Avery disinterestedly about the ritual of the northern funeral pyres and why it's important and where it comes from, and just blathering on about like the history of it.
And then in the 5th session, they got drunk with children. 1 star.
As you're sitting there, Avery a bit lost in his thoughts, Adric sort of playing the role of hero. He's been at this before. Keep it humble.
Might actually feel pretty good for not being not having that
dead.
Well, no, I mean being revered as a hero again.
Yes,
to a certain extent.
Of course,
it's been a while.
It's been a while.
And
it's been a while.
Hoffman probably talking the most. 3 women approach.
I will try to make my way over to Avery though at some point.
Okay.
Run along, and then I see him being pensive, and I want to talk to him about that.
Okay.
Now you see the funeral pyres. It's important to them because the fire, the wood is very scarce, and it's an honor for them to be burned. And some say that the spirit of the Windmere. I'm just explaining to Avery about the rituals we just saw. Mead.
I'm no, thank you.
His drink, he goes to cheers you kind of, and the mead sloshes out
on my hands.
Yeah.
I go,
sorry,
it's
sorry.
Precious. Don't lose that. And I kind of slide over to the hearth where Avery is and watch our doctor consume copious amounts of mead ahead of what will likely be a disastrous end to his evening. And I say, "What is it, Avery?" I lower my voice and quiet down and come over and sit down next to you, next to the hearth.
You probably notice I'm drinking water.
Okay.
Avery is a super lightweight.
Got it.
And being around in an environment where he doesn't feel comfortable, he probably wouldn't get.
Doesn't want to expose himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Understood.
Yeah, it's pretty defensive in this social setting.
There's actually no water being served here.
Nice.
I'm not joking. Water is an incredibly rare resource on these islands. So rainwater is kept for. The only water that was brought out was actually what was used to wash your hand. But you can stick with. There is some very light, the children's ale, which you're partaking of.
Well,
It's a salty mead.
I probably know that they'll mock the fuck out of me if I drink children's ale. So I've got regular ale, but
Just
I'm just
sipping it?
very lightly
Okay.
sipping it. Yeah. I look up at you, kind of snap out of it, and
Lost in thought, Avery?
I look over to Keeler and I say, "That one, He doesn't think we're going to make it.
Yeah. A grim outlook.
I
Is,
don't even mean in the battle that is yet to come. I don't even think he thinks we'll make it across the snow.
it's possible, but
Perhaps he understands this place better than we do, but
that is a certainty. But we've packed for the cold. We've experienced cold before. There's not much more we can do.
I stand by my previous statement. We need to learn to fight together.
Indeed.
It's clear that he knows what he's doing with that crossbow and has considerable martial skills, but it doesn't matter if we break ranks in the middle of a fight, does it?
It doesn't.
We need something to bring us all together.
I think Keeler would make a great outrider. He'd be a great skirmisher back home. Someone to harry the flanks.
I look around and I say, they don't have horses, do they?
They don't.
Like I just realized it. I wonder if he's ever even ridden.
Well, if we had horses, it would make this journey much less difficult. But I'm not sure they're accustomed to this kind of weather.
It's such a strange place. I brought chests of gold for bribes, and yet these people would rather have wood and water.
Well, it's difficult to buy certain things given the needs of these people. Not sure what good gold will do them unless they go somewhere where they can spend it.
I suppose they can't eat it, and it can't keep them warm.
Right. I'm not super perceptive, Adric. I mean, he's not like super perceptive, but he's +5.
That's pretty good.
Pretty perceptive, bro.
Okay. Does in a roll if necessary, but I'm trying to get a read on Avery, which I know is not my strong suit. But did the battle shook him up? I've seen this before, maybe.
You don't think so? I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Jake? I don't know how you are. I'm sure fairly deceptive, but I'm not.
I think that right now I'm uncomfortable in a completely foreign social setting.
Got it. Okay.
You know, I'm like the clan member at the black church right now.
Sweating bullets. All right, I got it.
Hot under that hood, huh?
Yeah.
I say,
He's not that bad. He's not.
no, of course, but the point's made. I say, yes, it's having just met each other. Well, having us just met these men, Hoffman and Keeler, and now seeing what they can do and understanding that they know what to do. I expected much less, hello, my voice, much less martial prowess from Hoffman. To be fair, I thought he died on the ship. He disappeared for a moment under wood. And there he was, up again, fearless. If there's one thing we have, it's that. It's will and determination. And if somehow we can just avoid being surprised.
I had never seen Hoffman in a fight, and I admit I was impressed as well, but the man's intellect is stunning.
Yes.
I've worked with him before, and the things he's capable of, the things that he can do with those crystals are, well, you've felt the effects.
I have. I flex my hand and look at my form, which is a bit throbbing.
There's a reason that I insisted he be a part of this.
Do you believe him about the magic?
About the presence of it?
To infuse our weapons with it?
I think it's a necessity. I do believe him. I think he can do it. I kind of glance over at his scroll case type thing on his belt.
In that one, I point to Keeler, who's now singing and dancing. For the sake of this mission, Avery, I've put aside the glaring contention he seems to have with me. I'm hoping we can get past this. Because I think if we're all working together, as you said, if we all have the synergy, brothers in arms, I think we can do great things. We've survived in spite of our differences, in spite of our lack of coordination. I think with just a little bit of effort, we can truly be formidable. even if it's just the four of us.
I say, I hold up my glass and I say, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Out in the scrum of dancing and feasting and celebrating, Matt, a girl walks up to you, and she appears probably in her 20s or so, and there's two younger girls with her, probably in their late teens. You can tell they're probably all related, maybe sisters or cousins. All bear the skin of Svenheim, that pale blue, icy blue. She kind of bows respectfully, you giggling. You see a little bit of mead sloshing around her cup, and she says, "Killer, son of Uller, I thought maybe you could introduce me and my sisters to your friends."
Ah, yes, of course. Come. It is celebration. Well, link arms with them and start skipping over with glasses of mead.
It's a shocking difference from the Keeler you've only spent a few days with, but who's very guarded, and it's easy to just assume that's who he was. And seeing him in this environment is
I look at Avery as he approaches, and I say, interesting. Do you think once the blessing of the people here was put upon us that it changed his opinion of us? And then I quiet my voice as they all approach.
Oh, Keeler, the sun guides you, he says in Elvish. Often says in Elvish.
The moon here, friend. Yes.
Oh, yes, of course. And who are your friends?
Ah, let me introduce you. This?
Are they your children?
You think?
I point to the two younger ones.
How old is Sir Adric?
40.
40. Oh my God.
Dirty old
so
man.
old in medieval
No,
days.
I think I made him 35.
35.
Yeah, he's about 35.
This is
A 40-year-old
a great
knight.
doctor, returned, a brethren from the south, Hoffman. He shoots fire and ice out of his crossbow, not bolts. Yeah. And this fancy hair, finest hair in all the south. He is Lord Avery here,
Lord Avery.
a knight. He, only man we know, survived inside the mouth of the Haval. Brave warrior, clad in shiny armor. And I'll mimic the tapping on your chest. Careful. Do not touch. He's very protective. But enjoy yourselves. Gentlemen, as you say in your lands, enjoy. Party. You do not know what the future holds. Here, tomorrow, you can die upon the ice. But now, we celebrate in the hall. And I force everybody to chug whatever's in their cup.
Cheers. Cheers.
You put him down. The girls reach forward and grab your hands and drag you towards the sort of gathering
Middle
of
of
people
the room.
dancing. And yes. And we'll kind of see the camera pull up to the revelry as by hook or crook, you are forced to at least pretend to enjoy
Yes.
this
Forced to have
feast.
Mandatory fun.
Mando fun.
We'll dance and hoot and holler. No problem.
Jake, go ahead and take a point for to be perceived as a hero. I like that before. I just imagine being at this feast after this incredible adventure, and you're too busy thinking of what your future heroes welcome will be in the South to even really
this
enjoy
one.
the moment. Good shit all around.
This is like one of those endings where smash cut to somebody running in the snow, bloody. You always see how those scenes
Yeah.
come off the backs of each other.
All right. The next morning finds you awake fairly early. Maybe some of you, especially Dr. Hoffman, feeling the effects of the revelry of the previous evening. All of you were definitely feeling a bit revived between some sleep, some rest, the rich, hearty meat of the Haval, which you also all partook in. Matt, I don't know if I haven't really looked into the details. Did you take any? Is there any reason for you to take any part of the remains of the Haval?
Yeah, I definitely took some bones.
Okay.
So the
Certainly.
talismans, they're basically I can use whatever bone that I want, but I'd say it's probably more of the master craftsman that uses certain bones from certain animals, and I'd like to think that the more like legendary a creature is, the more power is imbued into the bones, which is why I'm kind
Cool.
of after
Like
the
that.
Arctil Grim as well. Is there's going
Right.
to be some power in those bones.
Yep. I think that's come up before. Very cool. This is definitely some most powerful bones you ever put your hands on, if you know what I mean. From
Second
this Haval
most
so
powerful.
far. All right. Jan is down at the docks when you guys get down there. He looks a bit worn as well. He was definitely enjoying the festivities, but also used to early mornings and hard work. He looks up and he says, "Oh, my friends, I'm glad you all enjoyed yourself. I think you, Doctor, maybe the most."
Yes, yes. Certainly sunny out today, huh?
I didn't know you had it in you, Doc.
Me neither.
Winmer slaps him on the back and then sort of pulls him aside. Dr. Hoffman,
Yes.
the middle of my hand is a bit tingly. Is that normal during this process?
It can be.
How
Losing
much longer?
well, the healing process, I can only help it along so much. It needs to naturally heal.
I see.
In D&D, that means long rest.
Yeah.
I hold up a hand. My ring fingers looks like it's like a S. I go,
Oh,
this
Jesus.
never quite healed correctly. This busted finger won't be the same here, I don't think.
No, it was set well, and I got to it early, so it should be okay. You should have most of your strength back in it.
Very good. Caught it in Sir Lodrin's helmet during a little bit of just a fun scrap, you know. Got it twisted in there.
Indeed, looks like a blast.
Jan says, "Well, we are ready to go. It will be that's a quick ship. One day we shall push hard and get to Alesund. Svenheim is sad to see us leave, but look forward to return. You are welcome in the village always now. You've made quite an impression. I think Greta, though, might be a little jealous. You might have beaten her out for best hair in the village now." He looks over at you, Avery. Kind of playfully nudges you in the ribs.
I give him a smile, and I say, "The wonders of our hair care products have not yet reached your small island."
Perhaps a trading opportunity.
See, Kaler, I had some things that I brought along I wanted you to look at, give your expert opinion.
Yes.
I've had them loaded onto the boat already.
Okay.
I've got a couple crates of like basically cold weather gear, like a bunch of furs that are basically designed to go under our armor. And then me personally, I've got this fur coat that's made to go like above my armor. It's just all like white, like fox fur, really fucking, as if I didn't do horrible things already. Now I'm evil.
He's got all the heads
Baby.
still on him.
Yeah. So I've got a bunch of like furs and stuff like that, probably like snowshoes. Like, I don't even know if this is the right shit, but I'm sure I hired someone to basically tell me all the things. I went to, REA and just bought everything.
So you're walking around with the whole Patagonia catalog.
right.
I want this and this.
But as we get on the boat, I pry open a crate and have Kyler look through it to see what is useful and what is junk that I overpaid for.
Man, I mean, you look at it and it's all well made. There's far too much attention paid to the cosmetic value of most of it.
To the
Probably
detriment of its survival.
Right. Even the stuff that is of good quality just isn't robust enough to to hold up to the conditions for an extended amount of time.
This
The furs that were given to them by the villagers are probably better, not looking, but functioning in this weather than any of the stuff that he has.
it is pretty, but fur is wrong. See? I'll hold up a piece from the village. Coarse, thick. The hair needs to be dense. This fox is thin. It's no good. It won't keep warm in cold. Also, too long. Long fur. Catch fire. Tight. Small.
Catch fire from what? I look around.
You recall several steaming islands you
Oh, yeah.
sailed by in the past.
This is good. It for under armor, yes? No metal. Touch skin. Dangerous here. Places we have to go close. Heats up. Burns skin fast.
Well, then this will work.
You would say the best stuff. There's rope in there that is lighter and stronger than anything that you see in the islands. That's probably the most impressive gear that you see in there. The climbing gear is all good, but the rope really stands out to you, Matt.
This what is this? Stretching the rope.
Silk. I shrug like I just say it's silk.
Silk. Interesting. What makes? You?
I just chuckle. I say, well, when we're after all of this, you can keep it.
Everyone who's ever made a first level character in D&D 3.5 and couldn't afford that goddamn
50
silk
feet
and
of silk rope.
humping around that hempen heavy ass shit. Well, you guys, you get underway, and it is a pretty beautiful day. One of the coldest, but sunny. The wind is light and favorable. The ship you're on is a bit smaller, but just as fully, just as many benches, and moves very swiftly. And you guys, by the late morning of the second day, one brief stop, and up ahead, still sunny. Suddenly you just see it almost looks like a cloud bank, just dense, sitting right over the water. There's some islands closer to it, and you see Jan talking to the master of the boat, and they sort of discuss it. Clear that it seems to be a known thing as you continue pushing, and you actually move right through this bank. And as you pass through it, suddenly you realize it's hot, it's steam. You come through the other side, and you see its origin is a small island, and this flow of molten earth, stuff most of you probably have never seen,
Definitely not.
plunging into the water, and just this perpetual steam wall essentially rising and moving in whichever direction the wind takes it. And you see this island is maybe small, maybe 100 feet wide, 20 feet tall. And Jan says, one of the youngest of the sisters, maybe 4 months. I have no fucking idea about geology, so
Yeah. Isn't it fascinating? The world reinvents itself up here, changes day by day.
Do you mean that it's been spewing that into the water for 4 months?
Yes, she is young, but she is vital. She will be a great brother one day.
How long?
Thousands of years?
What? How could there be so much of that in the earth?
The Earth is quite a large place, my friend, and below, well, it's only speculated where it all comes from, but perhaps there is a far below the Earth. There is the Earth becomes this. I kind of gesture over this molten rock.
Is it
Pressures.
spewing from the mouth of a great beast and
No,
extinguishing itself on the water?
Not quite. It is.
Nope, that's it. There's a giant beast under the ground. That's science now. Put it in the book.
Dr. Hoffman in a different setting would be one of those people who gets like a chemistry tattoo.
Yeah.
Like some sort of like
Yeah,
pun
yeah.
with chemistry letters, symbols.
I say, how hot is it?
Oh, hotter than any flame.
I mean, we can feel it from here.
I'll take one of your fancy, useless furs and just toss it at it. Like I'll hook it up to a crossbow and a bolt and shoot it at it, and you just watch it instantly burst into flame and incinerate.
It looks like a leaf that lands
before it
on a
gets
fire.
there.
It actually ignites in the air as it gets close, this scrap of fur.
So that's how you do it, Hoffman. I smile.
Well, not quite. Sort of. Well, anyways.
Jan,
He's going to go write equations after me saying that.
How are
He's
we?
like, actually,
How are we to kill a creature that lives in that?
Well,
How are we to even approach?
I kind of gesture over where it meets the water. Where there is heat, it can be cooled. It can be stopped. It can change. Hoffman shrugs.
That is why it is here, Arctilgrim. Only the cold can put out its fire, help it survive. That is what your legends say.
How many mountains are there like this one?
Hoffman shrugs.
This small, dozens,
Larger ones.
a great many. They go north, far to the land of the elves. Eventually, it is only ice and rock, no water. Ice, rock, fire. In the creatures that live in it.
The elves can have it.
Good.
Jan comes back over after talking some more with the master of the ship. He says, a few more hours, I think. It is interesting, this young sister. And on the horizon, you look. That is Alesund, oldest of the brother places. He keeps the ship for us. It will take us time to reach the council. I hope we have time left.
Is there a village on Alesund?
No. No tribesman lives on Alesund. It is only for the council.
That is intentional.
Yes? No tribe could claim the place which is ours to share.
I see.
A couple hours later, and you do indeed reach a cove in the island of Alesund. You did not realize how large this island was. By the time you were actually up to it, to you it feels no different than just approaching. It's just land. At this point, it's unrecognizable as an island. From discussions as you approached, you've learned from whether from Keeler or Jan or someone else, it's not only one of the oldest, or called the oldest of the brother places, but one of the couple largest. It's actually, they wouldn't describe it in statute miles or anything like that, but they talk about how many days around to sail, but it's larger than the big island of Hawaii. It's almost 100 miles across. So to reach the center will take, you'll be lucky to do it in under 3 days. And that is sort of the deadline you're looking for. The moon the new moon is in 3 nights from now. So you see in this cove, there are actually a couple large long ships that look to be very well anchored in place on the shore, and a small group of tribesmen staying with them. They bear the flags of the village of Svenheim. They're representatives that arrived here. They probably all come from different areas. And you disembark, and Jan comes over to you as you guys kind of get the rest of your gear off. And he says, okay, we are ready to go. He has a pack on his shoulders. He looks over at you, Keeler.
I am sorry, friend, but I don't think this trip will be for you.
He says, I mean, to bring you to the council. That is what I told the village I would do.
Understood.
I
Give me 1 hour and we can go.
He nods. What are you doing for an hour?
Did we just
I'm
gain
gonna
a
sit
companion?
down and so basically that whole part of that trip, I was doing some talisman creation. So I'm just gonna spend an hour. I can craft 2, so I'm gonna make 2 more for Jan. But while we're sitting here, I'm going to finish off 2 for everybody. So I'm giving everybody a.
Is there a limit on how many of these things you can?
I can make 2 per short rest.
Okay,
But there's no maximum to it? Because
No, so long as I don't finish them, they're not like activated.
Oh, okay. So you're not imbuing them with powers.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the whole time I'm sitting there, I'm just carving these things, but it's the final etches
okay.
that like activate them once the carving is completed.
I mean,
Usually-
what are the effects they're doing?
One was going to for 8 hours you have moving through difficult terrain costs you no extra movement.
Damn. Okay.
And the other one was just for stealth checks.
Okay. I'm gonna allow it just in this case because it works. You're not gonna have the opportunity most days to
Oh yeah, no,
to
this was the one shot. We get there, use these things to
Right.
just get boost time, and then we're still 2.5, still 3 days away.
Okay.
But
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
to give us a good boost of go.
Sure, it's cool. It's cool. I mean, we haven't really been using these things. What's the deal with what are they called? Imbued.
Oh, the so I get I can imbue 2 things with magical power, but I can only ever have those 2 going. So
But
it
they
can-
last forever.
until
Okay.
I change or go unconscious.
And Matt has one.
Yep.
And you.
I have 1. I have +1 AC.
Okay. All right. And what are you doing with that hour, Matt?
I'll hand everybody a bone carving on a necklace that has a humanoid figure sort of set in the running motion. And a second one that has a humanoid figure in black on the white bone that then sort of half disappears into the black on the other side of the bone. So you have advantage on stealth checks for 8 hours, and difficult terrain costs no extra movement for 8 hours.
Okay. Busy boy on the boat, and it pays off as you hand these off to Jan and you set off. The terrain is rugged and challenging. The sun is still shining, but the wind has picked up a bit, and the temperature has dropped. So even with the bright sun shining down on you, as you start to push upwards and gain some elevation, the chill gets stronger and stronger. It is definitely well below freezing. You look back, and as the sun gets low in the sky, it's actually kind of on the other side of the island, so there's still some illumination. You can't really see a sunset. You look back and you realize that the ocean is completely out of view. You're fairly amazed at the time that you all have made on this first day. Keeler is definitely a proficient guide, and you find a place to make camp. How are you guys? How are you guys spending your first night outside?
So, Josh, on the way here, Avery is gonna kind of take up the rear of the column, and he's very concerned about the random sailors that had already been here, and he's just gonna try to make sure we're not being followed. he's worried about secret members. What do we call them? Zealots.
Zealots.
So he's just keeping an eye on our rear end.
Okay.
But yeah, so I might lag behind a little bit, so I come into camp like when you guys are already setting up a little, and you probably just assume I'm lazy or tired.
I'll be next back from him.
Okay.
And some of the things Windmere would have done is just make sure all the equipment's sound, all the armor straps are tight, all the weapons are oiled, everything's clean, everything's dry. Things like rations and water skins are at hand, within reach, easily carried. Just anything basic like that he would have to prepare for in this sort of forced march situation he finds himself in. Also, probably suggesting some sort of travel formation that makes sense in this terrain, even though there's only, I guess, 6 of us now, right?
5.
The 5, sorry. 5 of us now. But yeah, I would probably, it makes sense that Keeler would be up front. Jan's with us too.
Yes.
Probably followed by Jan, Hoff in the middle, then me, then Jacob. Sorry. me, then Avery. And something sort of like that. And just keeping my eyes on the tree lines, making sure we're not walking into anything terrain-wise that I go, that looks like it could be a great spot to ambush people with arrows. Let's figure something out about that.
Okay.
And conferring with Keeler when necessary if we see some kind of terrain that looks like terrain I would use to ambush people in.
Got it.
Hoffman is getting the fire going and getting a pot ready to cook some stew or something, and just kind of helping Keeler and Jan get the campsite set up.
I say, Keeler, will it be a bright night? Will the moon be out? Any cloud cover? What can we expect out here?
Cold. It will be very cold.
I was more concerned with visibility.
Matt, give me a I'm assuming it's survival check and your rangery goodness. Is there some sort of favored terrain or something, right? Still in 5th edition?
Yeah, I have Arctic.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
You don't have urban?
Unfortunately not. Does that give you advantage? Or is it just a plus?
God damn it.
I think it's
I
just a
forget what it is
plus.
for Ranger.
If you don't remember, your character doesn't remember.
Character dies, you die in real life.
God damn.
I don't like this game anymore.
We're all trading in electric chairs.
Natural Explorer.
Oh, it's doubled. Proficiency is doubled.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's kind of better than advantage.
So plus your proficiency bonus is 3. So
It's plus 6.
So basically whatever your skills numbers are on that sheet, any intelligence or wisdom that's related to the terrain.
So 6 plus wisdom mod.
Yep.
These fucking dice are awesome. I rolled a natural 18, so that's
Okay.
24.
Let me just take a quick peep in here and see if there's where the fuck.
Also, the benefits of Natural Explorer are difficult terrain doesn't slow your group's travel.
Yeah,
in
I just
Arctic.
saw that.
I
probably should have paid more
can't
attention.
become lost except by magical means.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're engaged in other activity while traveling, you remain alert to danger. When you forage, you find twice as much food. And when tracking other creatures, you learn their exact number, their sizes, and how long they pass the area.
All right. So what did you get on that survival check, Matt?
24.
Okay. Avery asked you this, and you sort of give him your little folksy response. But you do sort of kind of take your time and look up at the sky. There's some very, as the light's dimming, some very thin clouds. Kind of smell the air. Look around a bit. Kind of close your eyes. Get a feel. You get a feeling that cold is coming for sure, and bad weather with it. Storms are brewing. We'll hit tomorrow.
Rest well tonight. Tomorrow, it will be rough. We will not have the spirits guiding us either. We wasted time today. We could have been further. But do not expect tomorrow to be as easy.
Very well.
Nonetheless, we should set some sort of watches. The fanatics may already know that we've arrived.
Yeah, and if there is a storm coming, I doubt they'd want to attack during it. Maybe right before or right after.
Jan looks, he says, I've told you before, I do not wish to pry, but you have spoken. I know of what happened in the town. The word has gone around. I've spoken with Keeler. I do not know this group you have made reference to, but I know though it is whispered in villages. The whispers may be louder now than in years past. You are right to be cautious. Even Svenheim, some that were not there, I think maybe they are with the council.
They would want to be as close as possible if they're not council members themselves. Very well. Let's set a watch order and try to get some sleep.
I'm going to look around for a spot that I think would make an ample place to have field of view, just where we can watch the camp area and have a good indication if somebody is in fact approaching it and what the problem areas would be.
Okay. You pick out a good spot. There is great illumination tonight. The moon is nearly full. Is new moon empty, or we keep referring to new moon, I think, but new moon is actually
You're the dungeon
Empty,
master,
right?
baby. It's whatever you want it to be.
Well, new moon is. Yeah.
the new moon is a real thing, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
I know. It is.
It goes from new to crescent to half to
So new
three
is
quarters to
no.
full.
No illumination.
Right,
Is that right?
right. Full moon's what you're
Does
hoping
anybody
for.
remember? Have we been saying full moon or new moon?
I don't know.
Doesn't. Matt?
I don't think so.
All right. There's a lot of loom because the moon's almost full. So you're a couple days away from that new full moon, which is what we call it
Which
here in
is
the north.
definitely what we call it.
It's sort of a new moon, but quite bright, like a full moon.
It's brand new that it's full.
Yeah.
Because before the old moon
Look at that moon.
had less
It's
of it.
new.
Yeah.
It's newly filled.
Up
With
here, we
moon.
call it full when new. You down south is different,
Strange
yes?
customs.
It's
Very
like a
strange
southern
customs.
hemisphere, winter, summer.
It's when the werewolves become humans. It's really weird.
All right, you guys set watches. You do keep watch through the night. The winds pick up a bit, but it stays clear, and you detect no danger. And start off the next day, making your way. Keeler once again picking out the route, and you start to get to some steeper terrain. Start kind of having to at times use some ropes, use some assisted climbing. To take shortcuts to basically, even the technical delay of doing that saves the hours of going a longer way. And by early afternoon, the wind is howling, and looking back over your right shoulder from the east, you see a dark wall coming towards you. Deep dark clouds coming over the horizon and already starting to blanket out some of the land below. Keeler, it's coming. It's gonna hit within a couple hours.
We must find a spot to bunker. We cannot travel in this.
You weren't kidding about that storm.
It would be very, very, very risky. It would be extremely risky for you. Forget about having to sort of safeguard these people who are strangers to this kind of terrain and weather. Give me another survival check.
I rolled the wrong dice. That's a
Like literally
14.
Okay. All right, he's mortal.
Cracks are showing.
It's not. I gotta roll the blue dice, not the black dice.
You push onwards. You're on a pretty exposed series of climbs right now, and there's not much of an option but to kind of bowl forward. And you do, and you start to feel as you Keela, you almost get a bit frantic. You don't maybe let it show, but it's just taking longer. Everybody's doing well; they're pulling their weight, but it's just you're not even used to traveling with this many people, and everybody has gear, and everybody's it's just slowing you down, and the storm is kind of even moving a little bit faster than you realize. So you feel the stings of ice blown on the wind hitting the back of your neck, and the sky quickly darkening. And up ahead, there's a cut in the land, and looks like probably a good natural cave formation, and you have to raise your voice as you turn back to holler. As you turn to look back, you can see your companions, and beyond them is just gray. As the heart of the storm starts pulling towards you, and you descend down to this cave, and you're moving a little bit more recklessly than you normally would, and it's not until you push forward, start to get some under the cover of some of this rock into this kind of deep, wide cave, when you suddenly realize that the first thing you would ever want to do with a cave is figure out if it already has any inhabitants.
Oh yeah, cave.
When
What could go wrong?
When you hear a rumble, and it for a moment you kind of can't decipher it from the howl of the storm outside, but what little light there is, and those of you with I guess Keeler, you're the only one with dark vision right now.
Yes.
Nobody has one of those talismans. You see a massive form coming forward from the darkness, and the rest of you can see a silhouette and a massive, dingy white bear comes forward. You see its lips peel back and snarl. It's got to be 6 feet tall at the shoulders, down on all fours. Its head towers above you, and Keeler, it is angry. You're in its home. What do you do?
I am going to. I'm gonna put my arms out to have everybody stop.
Don't worry, they've done that already. I'm pretty sure.
And
Slow. Crouch and back out.
Jan softly says a curse in the tribal language.
Slow.
Thank God Avery and Hydrocrat in the rear guard. A lot of meat to go through before he gets to us.
So what are you doing? You're trying to you're backing out of the cave?
I'm making myself and trying to make us all small and meek, and back out slowly, non-aggressively, so that we can trying to show respect of, oh, okay, this is yours, like, fine, we'll go.
Okay. Give me a nature check. Probably a relatively important one.
I'm going with the blue dice.
Inspiration.
The blue dice failed me. It's still a 17.
Okay. You
I thought it was a
kind
6, but it's a 9. That's
Oh, okay. All right.
you start to move backwards, backing up the rest, and this massive bear takes like 2 heavy strides forward and roars. You feel the heat and smell its breath kind of waft over you, and it's becoming more aggressive, and you're almost to the mouth of the cave, and the wind is picking back up now, and you feel the ice, the snow and the ice whipping through the air, start to flood over the back of your necks, kind of melting down into your armor. And
Avery says, "What will be worse, Keeler? The bear or the cold?"
I guess we'll find out next week. All right, we'll wrap it up there.
Come find out they're both bad.
"Quiet, Avery, speak quiet."
And thanks for listening. Make sure you rate, review, skywrite, scream it from the top of a tower. You can find us at nastygrampod.com and at facebook.com/nastygram. Intro music by A Wilhelm Scream. Outro music by Creepin' Cadavers. Scores by Adrian Von Ziegler and Thomas Bergensen. You can check them all out in the show notes. Special thanks to LSG Media at libertystreetgeek.net. We'll see you next time.
All these wasted youth, dreams of fame that will never come true. Spend all our days watching the world fade away. Dance until the lights go out.
That's nasty.